The fence almost didn't survive. It has a major dimple in it. Hey guys, I'm here with Ryan Winther, the 2012 World Long Drive Champion. Hit the ball further than anybody else in the entire world. Everyone who plays golf wants to know how to hit the ball longer. Ryan figured it out in such an elite level that he could do it better than anyone on planet Earth. I mean, if you're talking about pixie sticks or badminton or anything, like, so what does it feel like to be able to do something better than anybody else?
It's very cool. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. If you want to be the best at anything, it takes an extreme amount of dedication, and it was really just icing on the cake. You know, we've been doing it, setting records, and then winning the World Championship, and able to say, you know what, I am the longest hitter on the planet. It's you know, more than words can describe. It's a very amazing feeling, and it's a compliment to all the hard work that goes into it.
Ryan, it actually doesn't even do justice seeing some of these guys on TV, but physically, you know, he looks exactly like, you know, you would think somebody in the NFL looks. But we do a lot of golf fitness videos on my channel and everything, and you have kind of an interesting story about how you got into golf fitness, not really thinking about golf at all. How did you first start developing this kind of athletic sense?
You know, I was being a kid, that's all it was. We grew up on a farm up in Grass Valley, and my sister and I, all we did was we were running and jumping and building forts and jumping around trees. I mean, doing a lot of stuff that, you know, is dangerous nowadays, but we even, our neighbor a couple acres down had a bull that we always kind of teased, and it was fenced in, so we would agitate him and he would start doing his thing, and we'd be running. I mean, I literally do sprints all day, you know, after school and everything, so it was crazy. And going back to TPI, being the fastest swinger ever recorded, they were like, well, how'd you start training? Because I didn't start golfing until I was 25. Yeah. And for me to be this developed in a golf swing, I did it as a kid. I developed that jet fuel as a kid, not knowing it later on down the line. It helped me turn into a world champion and the longest hitter ever.
That's awesome. What was the speed, longest speed ever recorded?
Well, I have 4 Guinness Book of World Records. So I have the 2 for the longest carry drive on a golf course, both under 1,000-meter elevation and over. And then I originally set the ball speed, and I reset it at 235 miles an hour.
Gosh.
So originally did it at 217 in Florida a couple years ago.
And what was that longest carry you had on a golf course?
The one at sea level was 430 carry.
Okay.
And the one above 1,000-meter elevation, I carried at 495.
Now on a golf course, so this this isn't in a range somewhere.
No, it's on a golf course.
Did it hit the fairway?
Oh, it hit the green. Yeah, it landed on the green.
That's awesome. You can really shrink a golf course. Ryan, something that always comes up in my channel, it's interesting because I was talking to Isaac, and he's much more into tournament golf than you are. I think probably simply because he started when he was 10 and you started when you were 25. I started when I was 23, and to me, the way that somebody has to approach golf if they're an adult learner is completely different than how you approach golf if you learned as a kid, as you were learning everything else. How have you, on your journey to be better, you know, not only hitting the ball far, but in golf, kind of thought some of those differences were for somebody who's learned when they're old?
Well, it's exactly right. When we're kids, our minds are far more open to absorbing information. Yeah. And I've relied more on physical strength and that. So golf is so mental, as we all know. It's such a mental sport that it takes years to develop that mentality on your practice routines, the consistency of setting up each shot. Or long drive, I can just really focus on power and speed. Because I developed it as such a young age, I was able to apply it to what I was doing older as an adult. But you know, and I'm a scratch golfer. Right. But the difference between me, you know, I go out and shoot 68 to 76, where Isaac shoots 60. So there's such a huge difference there, and because I never pursued it because I know how hard it was, and that's why we always encourage kids at a young age to develop as an athlete and hit balls and run and sprint and jump. It's so important as a kid at a young age to develop your athleticism, because when you do become an adult or pick up golf at 25 or 23, you'll be so much better at it. And if you're golfing and turning into an athlete at 12 years old, I mean, you're just going to be a monster. Yep. Absolute monster at a young age.
Yep. Get into it early. But if you know, time's pass you by and now you're into golf, there's ways to do it. Yeah.
just as good as I'm an athlete, I'm a good cheater.
Yeah.
I figure out what works, and I cheat. You know, there's things I do in my swing because I wasn't developed as a golfer at a young age. So there's definitely an unlimited amount of possibilities you can cheat to get better really quick. Absolutely.
Exactly. I mean, cheating just meaning like there's ways to cut corners to do it more streamlined and more efficiently. Yeah. One thing, Ryan, we're at the LA Golf Show, and Ryan's brave because he's trying to sell things here wearing a Giants hat. But you, right? But you have a history in baseball as well. You were obsessed with baseball growing up, really.
I never, like I said, I didn't golf till I was 25. Yeah. I played for Tampa Bay, the Rockies, and Royals. So I played baseball from 5 years old to 24 years old.
Obviously a hitter, not a pitcher, right?
Well, when I got drafted, they turned me into a pitcher because I threw 100 miles an hour. Okay. But I was a hitter. When I went back to independent ball, I was a hitter. You know, that was my specialty.
They just saw you throwing 100 miles an hour from the outfield and was like,
but again,
you got to put that on.
Because I developed those skills at a young age, I was able, you know, and I played a lot of long toss and did the things necessary to develop into an athlete. So at 18 years old, I was throwing 100 miles an hour.
What are some of the similarities or things that people can learn from a baseball swing? Because to me, actually, I've gone away from thinking of golf because I was a baseball player in high school. I've gone away from thinking of the golf swing as a baseball bat swing, and I'm thinking of it more as a pitching motion.
There's so many similarities both to hitting and pitching. It's the hand-eye coordination, having the swing plane, right? Because it's really essentially it's the same thing as a baseball swing on a different plane. Yeah. So you're bending from the hips rather than staying equal and hitting the ball that's coming at you. Yeah. Now, in all fairness, even though I played baseball professionally, golf is far more difficult than baseball ever was. But there are so many similarities.
But the ball's not moving in golf.
I know, that's the hard part. I still can't figure it out. But pitching, it's that shoulder disassociation, the hip disassociation that you use in pitching. It's creating that lag. Having the shoulder flare back, using the hips while the shoulders stay is so much. I mean, baseball and hockey is very similar as well. So usually you see a lot of the good baseball players are very good golfers.
The thing that I really like about thinking with anybody that's played baseball is the routine of pitching. So in every new pitch, you kind of get set, you go around. It's kind of like a circle, like Zach Johnson was talking about this when he was talking to, I think, John Smoltz. It's kind of like a circle where you start this whole new process and you go into this kind of circular routine, and then that all culminates in your finish and watching the shot. Just same thing with pitching. You get set, you get centered, you try to execute something, because the golf swing, unlike most sports where it's reactionary, the ball goes somewhere, you react to it. Pitching and the golf swingers are sports where you initiate the action. Nothing's going to happen until you take your set and go. And I think that's a similarity that is mentally really interesting.
And we're creatures of habit, so if you can develop a routine and then you stick to it. So like baseball, when I pitched, I had a specific routine. No matter, I had one. If there was no man on, I pitched one way. If there was man on, but I stuck to it every time. And the reason I was able to go through the ranks and have a successful baseball career, compared to most baseball players, is that I stuck to my routine. Just like in my long drive swing, you have to stick to your routine. Find out what works, stick to it, and just get better. And for Isaac, for a tour player, the reason they're so good is because their routines are the same on every single shot. I get excited, I hit a 400-yard drive, and then I go thin wedge 120 yards. So stick to your routine, trust the routine, and you're going to be better at whatever you do.
Okay, guys, so the one question I'm sure Ryan gets asked more than anything else, I won't even tell you what it is. What is it?
How's your short game?
Not what I was going to say. But okay, if you have one tip for guys that are looking to get more distance, obviously nobody watching this channel is going to have your athleticism. But for normal golfers, that want to hit the ball longer, can you show us kind of a tip and go through it? Yeah, cool.
It's obviously telling someone to swing faster is not going to work if you can't do it. Right. But everyone can tee up the ball higher and swing up on it. Okay. I'm a huge advocate. I tee the ball up. The USGA limit is 4-inch tees, so I use 4-inch tees and I use all of it. We're a little restricted on a mat here. Yeah. But tee it up, tee it high, let it fly. Right? It's the general rule.
The one thing I wanted to ask you about teeing it up, because I've experimented with this, how do you tee it up high, hit up on the ball, but still keep the, still hit it straight? Sometimes when I tee it up and I kind of hang back and try to hit up, How do I still, because I want to hit up on it, but I want to still hit it straight.
Well, it takes a lot of practice.
Okay.
And just as much as if you were hitting regularly. But what you have to think on a physics standpoint, when you swing up on the ball, there's less spin. A lot of tour players in the 80s, when golf courses were a lot shorter, they hit down on it to add more spin so they can hit those fades and draws.
Yeah.
Now that golf courses are developing into such long, 75, 8,000 yard golf courses, we have to figure out something else. Hitting up on the ball properly and being good at it and practicing it, you'll have a lot less spin, which in turn has a higher ball speed, which should allow you to hit it straighter. Not necessarily draw and fade it like these crazy amounts, but like Bubba Watson, he's a little different, but he tees it up really high, and hits this big old pull cut. Dustin Johnson does the same thing, and especially the LPGA girls who are the best at it.
Yeah.
They teed up really high, hit up on it, and it gets them that real consistent high, low spin ball flight. Because even though Bubba's curving it, there's not a lot of spin on that. I mean, that's more of a controlled spin rather than a ballooning spin that the ball goes off the golf course.
Right. It's interesting because when you talk about hitting up on it, some people, you ever heard of this D-plane thing or anyway, so do you have to, when you're really teeing it up 4 inches and you're really hitting up on it, do you have to adjust your aim? Do you have to aim more to the right to have it?
So on a physics, what TrackMan has really helped do, when the club is moving up, the club is moving left.
Right.
When the club is moving down, the club is going right. So yes, if I'm doing long drive, that's my move, is a pull cut.
Yep.
I aim straight, but the club is moving a little bit left because it is going up at an angle, and then I don't rotate the face as fast. So what happens is I hit that 2-degree pull and I have it cut back in the middle because I'm not turning the face over.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the golf course and trying to hit fairways, and I'm still teeing it up high, I move it a little back in my stance a little further so I compensate for that head not going left. Because if you are swinging up, no matter what, the club is going to be moving left. It's physics. It's this way.
Because the circle is going.
You don't swing this way.
Yeah, it goes back in.
And that's what you practice with at the range. You see, okay, my optimal ball flight, the ball's right here. I can still hit up on it with it little back, and that just compensates for the facing.
Cool. Enough talking. Let's see Ryan hit this ball through that fence and do some damage here. God. I could just tell that was not spinning, and it was just a penetrating bullet. Did we? No, we didn't get. We're not set up to get any numbers here, but that's crazy. Right before we go, Ryan, because I did this with Isaac, I'm going to hit a shot with your driver. If that's all right? Is that
absolutely,
all right?
yeah.
Cool. And I'm going to be thinking about these things Ryan's talking about. I'm going to aim a little right, and I'm going to try to hit a pull that I swing up on.
And that's
all right.
It's really, really nice.
That's cool.
And that's what you have to learn. I hit a 2-degree pull cut, so I aim. Like I said, I aim 2 degrees right. It's not a drastic. I'm going to aim one fairway over and hook it back. I have a 2-degree pull, and I adjust my stance to that. So it's very minuscule, small, but it makes a huge difference.
And I think that's where I was going wrong when I was seeing these things before. You put an empty box of balls in front of the tee whenever I was trying to hit up on it, my alignment was still about the same, and then I was having to kind of get stuck in order to leave the face open, or
you were compensating,
right.
and the consistency is not there. You can still hit a good shot. People are like, oh, I hit it great. Well, maybe that could be a miss hit because if the face was square relative to your path, it should be going left. So you have to adjust accordingly.
Okay, cool, guys. So Ryan is here with YonixUSA.com. Go check that out. That's the driver. Let's see. This is your driver?
Yeah, just a plain driver.
This is not a long drive driver, just his golf course driver.
Yeah, exactly.
How many X's are on this shaft?
This is a 4X, so it's still pretty stiff.
I'm surprised I got this up in the air, actually. 4X shaft. I have an X, and this is a 4X. So check this out. There's going to be a collaboration between, go check their TV show out. There's going to be a collaboration between Be Better Golf and Isaac and Ryan, because they do everything together anyway. So check him out. Check out Yonix. Thanks for joining me.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.